All right. It's a new year, new opportunities to explore the current state of this forgotten game. But either way, looks like we're going to have Striker Helix, Striker Black Blob Warthog. When in doubt, assume Striker. Striker's definitely been one of the most popular mech choices recently. By recently, I mean literally the whole time this game has ever existed. So up in the top left corner, we've got MAOR247 getting ready to go down, but alas, he does not. That's okay. That's all good. This is a 3v3 on duel between PROPROPROPRO, SPORT87RECIFE, HAWK485, and MAOR247, WOLFCUB, and R3DDOG down in the bottom right on the green team. And this is a good map overall, tends to be fairly well received. However, the beginning stages of this map largely revolve around who's going to be most able to capture this middle outpost. Already Carbon team has cleared out their neutrals, green team's going to step up, clear out some neutrals. The catch tends to be in the cell of where are you actually going to get that angle from. If you try to move in from the exact edges, then you have to take on a neutral Goliath. Goliath generally being very high hit point pools, so difficult to deal with and definitely slows you down a bunch. So this being one of the more casual approaches with fewer neutrals that are going to get in your way. Carbon team, however, getting the first extension, taking out that Goliath earlier. Green team still has not done that yet, so green team's going to be at a little bit of a disadvantage, but part of the reason for that is MAOR dropping a crap ton of Vulcans. Unique unit in that they are air to ground fire. Don't stand up all that well against mechs, not particularly cost effective against anti-air, but can definitely sway the tide of a battle if you have three players who do not look at their minimap and do not in any way respond to it. So Vulcans are a little bit of an interesting unit just because tanks, you know, the classic tanks, can't really fire back on them. That's going to put green team behind quite a bit. And with three players on each side, two of them being strikers and a warthog as well, you're going to see a lot of players getting killed here. Ultimately, what each team is going to look to try to do is build up their respective clumps and try to get a team wipe. If you can kill two players, then you can land, start shooting on the ground, and get the massive upper hand and momentum in that ground battle. So most players are going to be doing a lot of air-to-air spam fire here. WOLFCUB trying to take out Hawk, but being a little bit unsuccessful. R3DDOG going to respawn any second now, and he'll be rejoining the fight. Now, it does look like Carbon team does have the range advantage here. Going to be pounding in with Buckies and Busters. Green team with a couple of Busters as well, but Buckies with even longer range are going to be able to steadily overpower that green clump, keep putting damage in while receiving none. Meanwhile, MAOR getting taken down. R3DDOG might get focus fired over this post as well. He's out of energy with two players firing on him. And not quite. ProPro stays too long, and that's two kills on the Carbon team, but green doesn't have an army left to push with anymore. So, ooh, Hawk going down as well. That's a complete team wipe, so green team might be able to get the upper hand here, capture this mid and lock it down, but let's see. Only manages to take out 3 or 4 tanks. Every unit is important, so that kind of evens out that Bucky advantage that Carbon team had earlier. But green, I don't think, recognizes this. Doesn't necessarily have Aegis in their loadout. Aegis, of course, being the unit that is going to pretty much nullify anything those Buckies have to offer. One Aegis can kind of hard counter roughly 4 Buckies. R3DDOG dropping a grinder, but then promptly getting shot down himself, so nobody on the green team is going to micro this grinder away. It's just going to do as much damage as it can and leave this world. A couple Gaddies as well. That's going to prevent any kind of infantry drops or light unit spam from being effective here. We've got WOLFCUB trying to probe into the side corner, but I don't expect that to be particularly effective. His teammate's not really helping him here. I would expect a hard counter from Carbon here with all 3 players. But we can find out. This could be the turning point. We've got a fairly neutral battle at middle, but the Buckies, again, with no counterattack, just going to lay waste to most of these Carbon units while this is going on here. All three green players getting taken out. No generators, no energy on the outpost, and just get air-to-air spam down while Carbon's got multiple outposts to recharge on. So this should go neutral. All of these infantry will die. 3 players and a pretty heavy investment of units. Multiple anti-air, several SAMs, all going to go down here. So green team does manage to capture middle, but they're not going to be able to hold it. We can see WOLFCUB going down, RTDDOG going down. You've got no green team to micro, so expect these infantry drops to do a lot more damage than you would really think is fair. MAOR might get taken down here as well, so now there's just no green team to micro these units around, babysit them and keep them alive, so Carbon team is just going to be doing tons of damage. Virtually no green units left here, and expect Carbon to keep pumping out more tanks. Upkeep difference being 52 to 31, 62 to 31, spiking up roughly a 2-to-1 upkeep advantage, and this should be Carbon's game to lose now. Green team trying to transition into Goliath, but just not enough health, not enough energy on the outpost to top off the players, and we're going to see several more player kills come in. Sport just doing his jump spam, going to be able to stay alive there as well. RTDDOG trying to get that air to ground, but the jump spam is just too good. Oh, but the ultimate from the Warthog, keeping RTDDOG alive just long enough to get another kill. Will it make the difference? Probably not. But it's cool to watch. Green dropping a couple heavy mines, usually from people this high level who aren't as bad as I am. This is going to be a sign of desperation, just saying, hey, I know we've lost the position, but this is going to prevent you from pushing forward just a little bit longer. But you know who you're dealing with. You're not going to see a push either way. Lots of air-to-air spam. Very difficult to sit and wait anywhere, even on your own outpost, because there's just too much focus fire from too many different players. Using that air-to-air spam. RTDDOG going down. PROPROPROPRO going down. More grinders getting taken out. Carbon has the upkeep advantage. Carbon has the income advantage. And this is starting to snowball a bit. Green is desperately trying to hold firm. Every now and then trying to sell one of these neutral lock boxes. They pop up at 4 minutes, 6 minutes, 8 minutes, every even integer after 4. But Carbon getting just as many. So it's really not going to make that much of a difference. That gives them 1 or 2 extra tanks. They're really spread out. Teching into those late game units, multiple Goliaths, Berthas, Gorgons, heavy anti-air turrets as well, so you can't, multiple Gorgons and hats, you are not going to be able to approach this to even deal damage to the units with your own mech. So Carbon feeling pretty secure here, just needs to build the critical mass. Bertha is going to be able to neutralize that outpost fairly well. And then all they will need to do is just push straight into that fort. There won't be enough to defend it. In fact, there's literally nothing there to defend it. All of Green Team's units are right here. As well they should be, but this army versus this army, it's not even. So we should see Green Team getting overwhelmed here. A push right now from Carbon would be a little bit premature. What they're looking to do is get unit capped. They want to go and hit that maximum 98. Probably meanwhile going to start socketing well, bot spawners is an interesting choice. They are trying to build the levelers, but there's nowhere to put them. They built nuke silos, but there's nowhere to put them. So the bot spawners a little bit unexpected by their teammates. But this is where they've hit their unit cap. They want to start putting in whatever you call those levelers, whoppers, because you eat them. But they're going to give you more upkeep, so instead of 92, we're seeing 114. That way they can get more units on the field. It's going to dampen their income a little bit. They're expensive to produce, but when you're this many credits ahead, you know, you can afford to be a little bit inefficient. So Hawk just trying to take out these green Goliaths. They solidify another outpost. Meanwhile, all of these creeps that are getting generated by those bot spawners, They're not level 4 creeps just yet, but they're doing enough to put in consistent damage. Going to be able to kill some of these lighter units and maybe even neutralize this outpost, because you've got artillery, 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 and the only tank that was defending was just pulled off. If this looks weaker, that's because Carbon Team's units are down here now, which is even closer to the fort, you know, the only structure that actually matters for the outcome of the game. So once this is locked down with lockboxes or lunchboxes, so I'd expect Hawk to be able to just get these units repaired up and start dropping that fort corner with a Goliath. That's going to be a major attention distractor. Nukes, just to add insult to injury, all of the green units that were here are now gone. Tons of Buckies, tons of Ratchets. Just goes straight down to hell. Red Dog trying to defend. He's got that Warthog ultimate trying to micro around a grinder into the back of these Goliaths, into the back of those Busters. But a Hat and a Gaddy getting dropped down. Red Dog barely managing to Q heal to stay alive here. These Berthas are not going to help him. They're probably not even putting in enough damage to get that outpost neutral in the center, so these Berthas, kind of a misinvestment considering the momentum difference here. Multiple Gorgons, looks like. That could just be a display bug. Yep, that's a bug. But you've got at least 2 that exist, and that's going to be very strong when someone like Red Dog comes in here trying to kill folks. What are you doing back here? MAOR just getting a scout and promptly killed. Just wanted to see, is there anything back at the base? Could we potentially desperation drop WOLFCUB, just trying to get some fort damage in, seeing if he can steal the lockbox? He is not going to survive the attempt. This Goliath is going to get promptly blocked, and it's not going to put in any damage that can't be healed immediately with a lunchbox. So that Goliath is going to go down, very likely. MAOR trying to drop in some gangsters as well, just see if he can't put in a little bit more damage. But at this point, they're literally just seeing if they can cheese the game away. They have lost completely, but that is going to be GG as the final death train rolls in. 3 plus 4 Gorgons, 4 Goliaths. You can't drop enough armor in front of that to stop this damage pouring in, and the players themselves are just going to get slaughtered as they spawn, with the concentrated anti-air fire of 3 different players, plus those 4 Gorgons. So it was a really good ranking for Green Team, really good showing, but ultimately the momentum did overcome them in the end. There wasn't quite enough coordination. They did manage to capture this close outpost. Do an attack on it, but failed attack. Managed to capture the corner outpost, but there just wasn't enough coordination, wasn't enough outpost energy, and a really good, really speedy response from that Carbon Team was able to basically lock that down. And once that investment was lost, that's basically it. There's just too many units down that with a team that good, you really can't mount comebacks of that kind of magnitude without a serious misstep getting put forth. Red Dog getting the most damage out. Tons of unit kills, but alas, it just wasn't enough. GG. See you next time.